Hi everyone, Casey Irvine here, and today I want to talk to you about an app that I have just released to the Windows Store called Aloud Cards. I'll walk you through what the app is kind of briefly just so you have some context, but then I want to talk about some of my learnings and what I thought went well during developing this app using Agentic engineering and AI, and maybe some things that I would want to do differently. But yeah, so let me dive into the app. So this is a flashcard app for kids. It has, math facts and sight words and things like that. And the idea is that I wanted something that replicated how I use flashcards, like physical flashcards, where I show something to my child and they give an answer, and then I sort of say like, "Oh, you got it right," or "You didn't," and then we can either shuffle it back in the deck or complete it. And you have like different modes of like you keep going through the same set of flashcards, or when they get one right, you can put it away. But the main goal is that this app is very like auditory, and so it requires them to answer with their voice, and they can also hear if they so choose. So here we have like the picking card sets menu, so you can dive in here and sort of pick which cards that you want to have as part of your set of practice cards, and then you have like sight words over here as well. So I'm just gonna do the math ones for this, so we can do like addition and subtraction. We're going to test my addition and subtraction facts on live, so we'll see how good I am. Probably not that good, funny enough. And you can either start practice directly from here. It also has this notion of profiles, and all of this is completely offline. It was really important to me that like it uses on-device models, and everything is stored on device. Nothing's ever sent to the cloud. It does like a one-time download of the models when you first start up the app, but really one of the guiding principles here is that I didn't want any data, especially when it comes to like kids, to be sent to the cloud. So there is a profile here. You can edit it. You can add more profiles, but they're just for the app, so you can keep achievements and things like that separate. And of course, there's some achievements here that you can earn. And then you can even like have custom sets of words that you can add. But with that, let's show you what the practice looks like. So I can hit start practice. So there's two modes, keeps going forever, or we can do elimination, and we can do like 5 sets of cards. And so as I get them right, it'll remove cards from the deck until I've gotten all the cards right. So we can go ahead and start that. 17, 2, 11, 18, 12. So yeah, so that gives you the gist of it. Pretty simple. You get some stats at the end here, and you can go back to the main menu. And clearly, you can add more things. You can do sight words and stuff like that to that. But so that's my brief tutorial of the app. That's what it looks like. So now let me get into what went well and what went maybe not so well with this, and some of the things I liked. So I created an extension called Editless earlier this year, and one of the big, I think, mistakes that I made with Editless was like I had a bunch of feature ideas, and I tried to jam as much things as possible into it, and that can work to some extent. But one of the things that I thought I did really well with Aloud Cards is I paced myself a much better. I would only have maybe 2 or 3 kind of parallel sessions running. I would make sure to test and merge pull requests uh, as only a few at a time, so that I didn't have a bunch of overlapping where changes were made on old branches and things like that. Like really kind of like paste it more like a traditional engineering project rather than like slamming a ton of PRs. And I know there's teams at Microsoft that are doing crazy amounts of PRs. I just found for me, especially on a solo project, like I really needed to have a grasp of what was changing and how fast it was changing. Plus, it just worked out well because I was doing it over the series of weekends and evenings. And so rather than trying to like slam a bunch of things in, it was just easier for me to kind of pace myself through that. And I think it worked out much better. Um, I did a prototype before I ever got to making like a Windows Store app. It was in Python. It was really simple, and it was just to see if like offline models could do the kind of voice detection and things that I wanted. And so that was, I thought that went really well, and that just proving that proof of concept first, like really helped. And then one of the things that I did that I think is really important is I create these like sort of touch grass moments or hooks, and so for me that's if I can show here, I'll just open up this code here and bring this over. Sorry for all the pop-ups. I try to get rid of those. I don't know why they're happening so often. Even in snooze it was or do not disturb, it's still popping those up, and so I'll have to go figure that out. But sorry about that. Um, the right at the very top, I have this scripts folder, and this has like just the really quick ways to launch the application for testing, to run some test cases, to build it. And so this way I never really had to like memorize the individual commands or different things that I had to do. And it made it really easy that if I was in a branch, I didn't really have to think about like what state the app was in. I would just say like launch it, and it would make sure it was built with the latest changes and launch it so I could test it out. And having these like touch grass moments were really I think really important, and allowed me to use the app and keep the quality high throughout the development process because I was using it. And so it might take a little while to do this, but if I um, like launch the app, it's going to build it, and you'll see that it'll do all the things it needs. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long because I just launched it. But this gives me like a really easy hook to be able to um, launch the app and be able to use it right away. And I'm on my main branch now, but if I'm on a child branch, I could easily do that and test like local changes that are being made. So now my app is launched, and I'm ready to test out whatever local change was made, verify it works, verify nothing was broken. And again, I think it's important that me as the developer, like I sort of always come at it from the perspective of a user. And so using the app after changes and verifying that like a user really can use it the way that they want was important, because agents can put in tests and do all these sort of things, but I think it's important to have these frequent touch points, or what I call touch grass, where um, I'm um, I'm using the app like a user would, throughout the development process. So that I think that went really well. The other thing I did, and let's see if we can see an example of this in. So I have a decent amount of CI/CD, and so whenever, let's see, maybe I don't have an example of it ready. Yeah, here we go. Um, so having this is like I'm always running the test locally anyway, but this is just that extra sanity check of, even though it's just me working on it, like I know that certain things are always running. And then I also have CI/CD pipelines for when I want to build like an app package that I want to publish to the store. So this again just kind of ensures that I have easy mechanisms where I don't necessarily need to remember all of the things, because agents are building a lot of this for me. So kind of giving myself those easy mechanisms to make sure that like I get the green checks, I can build a store package without a bunch of issues. Like, yeah, all of that is it really helps kind of keep you sane when you're developing an app using a bunch of AI, and just make sure that you're running the checks necessary before a PR goes in and then causes a bunch of failures. And then you're trying to like go back and figure out what caused the failure, where things went wrong. It's like I can see that at least some sanity checks are being made after every PR. Again, even though it's just me, I'm not pushing straight to main. And then, once I see this, and once I've tested the app myself, that's usually when I merge a pull request, and then I can update all the other pending pull requests I have to like be on that branch. And so, keeping branches up to date was another thing that I think went pretty well. One of the things that I wish I had done a little bit earlier, which you can kind of tell that I'm working on right now, is I had some services for agents to be able to control the app and to have some end-to-end testing, and even to where like the agents could take screenshots. But I didn't have nearly enough to where I could let the agent run with development as much as maybe I should. And so right now I'm backfilling some hooks for on debug builds. Agents are able to control and navigate around the app a little bit better. So to be able to verify things, to be able to look at different pages. And one thing I've noticed is that even if you have like a really advanced model design some UI for you, it's really helpful to take a screenshot and then send that back to the model to say like, hey, here's what you actually produced. And you'll actually watch the model kind of iterate a bunch on UI that it's made if it can see the screenshot of it. So it may think it produced one thing, but actually produced something else, or just different parts of the model will critique that image differently than it would have like the whatever meta language it used to create the UI, whether that's the UI layout, HTML, whatever it might be. It's critiquing it in a different way, and so I saw a lot of really great success where I was able to get the agent to take screenshots of what it was doing and then critique itself. And so it can actually build a higher quality UI faster, I think, if you have that sort of pipeline built in. And I have some of it, but I want to have more of that where it can actually take screenshots as it goes. So I think that kind of wraps this up. I don't want this video to get too long, but yeah, feel free to drop any questions, or maybe I could do another series if there's more questions about how I went about this. But it was, GitHub Copilot app using a lot of GPT 5.6 Soul and Cloud Opus 5 now that it's released, and just building this app with AI. Yeah, thanks so much. Happy coding.